Hello, everyone. Welcome. Hi. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're so happy to see you. Welcome to the 2023 Golden Poppy Book Awards. We're very, very happy to have you here tonight. My name is Kristen Rasmussen. I was formerly, very recently, with Kaliba as the co-ED with Ann Seaton, now very happily with Scholastic. I am going to be introducing our wonderful host for the evening. But first, I thought I would tell you just a little bit about the Golden Poppy Book Awards for those of you who don't know that much about it. We have a number of booksellers and also hopefully some bookstore customers joining us tonight. The California Independent Booksellers Alliance, CALIBA, the fine folks who are putting on this show, present the Golden Poppy Book Awards in recognition of the most distinguished books written and or illustrated by creators who have made California their home. Our goal, and it's a lofty one, is to elevate California voices and recognize the unique and diverse talents within our state as chosen by the booksellers who know them best. Committees for each category are made up of booksellers throughout the state, tasked with developing a final ballot that will be voted upon by Caliba's 238 bookstore membership and their employees. This year, we were lucky to see a record number of submissions and votes by our bookselling community. Thank you so much for voting. Our booksellers are clearly passionate about the books and the authors and illustrators presented tonight. I wanted to introduce very quickly our wonderful hosts for the evening. We are absolutely thrilled and beyond excited to have these three wonderful, talented women with us tonight, starting with Jasmine Guillory. Jasmine is a New York Times bestselling author. Her novels include The Wedding Date and Reese's Book Club selection, The Proposal, By the Book, and Drunk on Love. Her work has appeared in the Wall Street Journal, Cosmopolitan, Bon Appetit, and Time, and she is a frequent contributor on the Today Show. Also, important to note that probably her finest accomplishment was likely winning the Golden Poppy in 2021 for her novel, While We Were Dating.
Absolutely.
Right? She lives in Oakland, California. Also joining us tonight is Jhoanna Belfer of Bel Canto Books in Long Beach, soon to have 2 locations. And I know, I'm so excited. And Susan Reckers, the children's specialist at Rakestraw Books in Danville. Both are absolute rock star booksellers, and we are so, so proud and happy to have them with us tonight. And with that, I am going to turn it over to Jasmine and let her take it away.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here and so thrilled to be asked to host these awards. I love bookstores and books and booksellers, so I'm thrilled to help give away these wonderful awards. Let's start off right away with the Fiction Awards. The person who is going to be giving us presenting the Fiction Award is Caitlin Smith Cook of Copperfield Books in Healdsburg. Caitlin.
Hello.
Hello.
So the finalists for the Golden Poppy in Fiction are Big Gay Wedding by Byron Lane from Henry Holt, The Celebrants by Stephen Rowley from Putnam Books, The Covenant of Water by Abram Verghese from Grove Press, Death Valley by Melissa Broder, and What We Kept to Ourselves by Nancy Ju-Yun Kim from Atria Books. And the Poppy goes to The Covenant of Water by Abram Verghese.
Yay.
Hi there.
Hi,
So
Abram.
excited.
Thank you for coming. My question to you is, where did you get the inspiration for this novel that really took all of our hearts?
I think it came really from my mother writing out in longhand a story for my niece, her first granddaughter. And in reading about my mother's childhood in such detail, and she illustrated it, I just had the confidence to set a novel in Kerala, where she was born, but where I was not born. But that gave me the start. And from there, it was all just luck and magic.
Magic indeed.
I also want to say a special thank you to all my bookseller friends here, many faces and names I recognize. I've lived in California longer than I've lived anywhere else, so getting this award from you is really, really special. Independent booksellers with every single book of mine have made the book happen by hand selling the book. So I can't tell you how much this means to me. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I think I am next up. I am here to introduce the picture book Golden Poppy Award. Actually, I'm not. That's not true. I'm introducing a bookseller who's going to tell you about the Golden Poppy Award finalist for picture books, and that is Drew Durham of Books Inc. Drew, are you here with us?
I think my screen is working. Y'all see me? Okay. The finalists for the Golden Poppy for picture book are Dear Mr. G by Christine Evans, illustrated by Gracie Zhang from Union Square Kids. Gustav is Missing by Andrea Zuhl from Random House Studio. I Live in a Tree Trunk by Meg Fleming, illustrated by Brandon James Scott from Harper Kids. The Skull by John Clausen, Candlewick Press. And Spanish is the Language of My Family by Michael Genhart, illustrated by John Hara. I hope I rolled that properly. Hope he doesn't go after me. But from Neil Porter Books. And the Golden Poppy Award for picture book goes to The Skull by John Clausen. Okay. I guess I get a question. I get to ask John one question, even though I have lots. So I think it was really cool. Well, everything about the book is really special, but I thought the back material, there aren't always author notes in picture books. They're often very much sadly missing. I love the story behind it, but I wanted you to I want you to say to the people, to everybody, to what your inspiration was for the book, and then behind that, yeah.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you very much, everybody, for voting for The Skull. It means especially a lot coming from the booksellers. I didn't know whether I'd thrown you guys a curveball with this one or not with the format, and I didn't know where it was going to get shelved exactly. And every story went to, I was like, are you guys okay with this? Where are you going to put it? Where does it go? And everyone seemed to have a different answer. So that means a lot, especially that you didn't hold that against me. For the question for the back matter, this book came from a library book that I read like years ago. And then I just read it once very quickly in the library and then put it away and left the library and couldn't find it again, couldn't find the book again until that librarian at that library in Alaska in Juneau helped me find the story. And I read it again and I had changed it a lot. I had done that thing that you do with a story when you leave it alone for a long time and your brain gets to work on it a little bit and changes it sometimes for you. And I really liked what my brain had done to it. And that's not always probably advisable, but this time it felt like emotional. It felt like I did this for reasons that I think I can really get behind. And so it felt right to do it. And it was an experience to write it that way and to feel like I maybe could. But I'm very validated by the vote. I had a lot of fun making this book, and I'm glad you guys liked it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
And now I'm up to introduce the Nonfiction Award, and Seth Marco with the Book Catapult in San Diego will be talking to us about that.
Thank you. I'm making sure my camera works, everything works. A lot going on. Thanks everybody for being here tonight. The nominees for the Nonfiction Golden Poppy Award are California, a Slave State, Forgotten History of Slavery and Slave Revolts in California by Gene Falzer from Yale University Press. California Against the Sea, Visions for Our Vanishing Coastline by Rosanna Shaw from Heyday Books. Forager, Field Notes for Surviving a Family Cult by Michelle Dowd from Algonquin Books. A Man of Two Faces, a memoir, a history, a memorial by Viet Thanh Nguyen from Grove Press, and Secret Harvests by David Masamoto, illustrated by Patricia Wakita from Red Pen Press. And the Golden Poppy Award for nonfiction goes to California Against the Sea, Visions of Our Vanishing Coastline by Rosanna Shaw. Hi, Rosanna.
Hello. One day I'll get used to Zoom.
It's hard. It's hard. This would be a lot more fun in person, I think. My question to you after reading this book, I think it's, to give a little bit of background to it. I don't want to talk too much, but it's sort of your journalistic, experience and interviews with people all across our coastline about where we are as, a state and where we can go towards in the future as far as our coastline is concerned. It's an important topic and an important book, and I found your book to be surprisingly hopeful, and I wondered if you felt the same way, and what was your big takeaway from this whole thing?
Yeah, and just thank you so much to I'm just really grateful to all the wonderful bookstores and booksellers who have welcomed me since this book came out. And truly what folks have already said, this is just a super special award. And I'm just really, really, really touched. I really love your question, because I think the first thing I said to my publisher, Heyday Books, they're also amazing, long live indie publishers, was that I did not want this book to be depressing or scary. And I think the cover itself kind of speaks to that. And as a climate journalist, I'm constantly wrestling with this question of whether or not, how much hope to put into a story, right? Because too much hope leads to the sense of, complacency and lack of urgency. And then people can literally read something and then move on to the next thing. But too little hope causes, the sense of despair that truly leads to a sense of just like fatalism and paralysis and inaction. So kind of doing that balance has been a constant challenge for me as a writer. And through the process of this book, I realized that this hope question, how much hope versus despair, or hope versus urgency do you insert into the way you talk about climate change? I realized that I needed to move away from that emotion. Ultimately, what I realized, the emotion we need to index on is responsibility. Does someone reading my book, reading anything that I write regarding climate change, does someone walk away from it feeling a sense of duty to do something? And that do something literally could be to just start a conversation with your neighbor, with your family member, and just the sense of collective responsibility. It doesn't even matter how much hope you have if you feel a sense of duty to do something to make this future that we are all sharing, the future for our future generations, truly something that to make our planet still livable. So a very long-winded way of saying that I do still have hope. That's, I think, why I'm still doing the job that I do. And I think I talk to so many people who do feel this immense sense of grief and paralysis, but we still have time. We're running out of time, and we absolutely need to be acting on climate change, but we still do have time. And I think being able to write a book and to explore these issues, super, nuanced through communities in California that often get overlooked, was just truly an exercise and a practice of hope ultimately. And I'm just so glad that you felt that in just, the book itself. And I do want to shout out Heyday. I did not go the mass market approach with this book, and Heyday truly believed in that. I had the most amazing book editor, and just the sense of community that I've felt, up and down the state since this book came out from all the booksellers. I'm just truly grateful. So thank you.
Okay, great answer, Rosanna. The next category is the middle grade finalists. And today, to introduce those are my friend Jessica Palacios. Jessica is from Once Upon a Time Bookstore in Montrose. I've known her for many years. I was there on her first day of college, but that's a story for another time. Go ahead, Jessica.
Thanks, Susan. Yes. Our finalists for middle grade are Big Tree by Brian Selznick from Scholastic Press, The Fire, the Water, and Monty McGinn by Sally J. Plaw from Quill Tree Books. The Firefly Summer by Morgan Matson from Simon & Schuster Books for Young Readers. Lasagna Means I Love You by Kate O'Shaughnessy from Knopf Books for Young Readers. Nell of Gumbling, My Extremely Normal Fairy Tale Life by Emma Steinkellner from Labyrinth Road, and Parachute Kids by Betty C. Tang from Graphics. And the Golden Poppy Award for middle grade goes to Big Tree by Brian Selznick. Hello.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. Your books are stunning. Everyone who's seen them knows they're a work of art. And I think you do such great work with the use of perspective in all of them. But I wanted to know especially what inspired you to choose to narrate from Seeds this time.
Well, I knew from the beginning that this was going to be a book about nature, told from nature's point of view. So I wanted plants to be the central focus. And trees and bushes and most plants have roots and can't move. And it seemed pretty imperative for a story to have characters that could actually move around. And so I thought Seeds would be a natural way to, literally natural way, to think about the ways in which we feel as, feeling like little tiny people in a giant complicated world, and sort of dovetailing with what Rosanna was saying. And I think our books really kind of parallel each other in a lot of ways in terms of looking at hope in the context of something big and overwhelming and really terrifying, but ultimately really looking at it as something where you can do something to make things better. So a little seed is like a kid. A little seed has the ability to have these kinds of adventures in a way that go along with the ways that we as people do. And so that's sort of where the idea for the little seeds started from. And I just want to thank everybody at Kaliba and all the people at the bookstores, everyone at Scholastic. It's really been an amazing journey. And and I'm a former bookseller myself, so you really are my people. And as a former bookseller, I want to just say I just finished The Skull, and it's amazing. So thank you so much, and it's been a real thrill.
Thank you.
Jasmine, you're muted.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It is now my turn to introduce Mary Elizabeth Iturralde of Creating Conversations in Redondo Beach, who's going to introduce the Mystery Awards.
Thank you, Jasmine. So the Golden Poppy nominees for Mystery Award are Before She Finds Me, Heather Chavez, Mulholland Books. Everybody Knows, Jordan Harper, also Mulholland Books. Killing Me, Michelle Gagnon from G.P. Putnam Sons. Mother-Daughter Murder Night, Nina Simon from William Morrow, and Murder by Degrees by Ritu Mukherjee. Man, so many times worked on that. Anyway, Simon & Schuster. And the Golden Poppy Award for Mystery goes to Mother-Daughter Murder Night by Nina Simon. So Nina.
Hello.
My initial question to you is, the Rubicon women not only have different life views and experiences, as you would expect from their different generations, but also different areas of expertise, each of which comes into play in the course of their investigation. Can you talk a little about the choices you made for those kinds of knowledge for Lana, Beth, and Jack?
Yes, thank you, Mary Elizabeth. I really think of this family of the Rubicon women as three strong women who are strong and independent in very different ways. So Lana is the business mogul grandma, and her knowledge about real estate helps with a mystery that's really rooted in land politics. Beth is the caregiving and kind of creative mother whose experience as an assisted living nurse also ties into the mystery. And Jack, of course, the adventurous teenager, is the one who comes upon the dead body out in Elkhorn Slough when leading a kayak tour. When you're writing an amateur sleuth book, the amateurs need a reason to be actually involved in investigating and to be able to figure something out related to the mystery. And so each of these women bring a different lens, bring different experience, and hopefully they learn to trust and depend on each other and not just feel like they need to do everything by themselves.
Absolutely. And did you take the experiences they need to help form their characters, or did their characters help you sort of figure out this is something that somebody with these traits would be experienced in?
Mary Elizabeth, I wrote this book as a love letter to my mom. And so I think about it more simplistically, maybe than that, which is these are women I love who are strong, who are fighting to be able to live with each other as they're also trying to figure out this mystery. And I really wrote Lana, the grandma, who's sort of the star of the show, to be the outrageous superhero version of my mother. Like my mom, Lana has terminal cancer. But while my mom was often stuck in bed at the hard time of her diagnosis, I wrote Lana to be leaping out of bed and solving a mystery. Writing this book, I did it alongside my mom, and it really brought us hope and joy and comfort during a hard time. Now my mom is doing great, and it feels so amazing to get to share Mother-Daughter Murder Night and this fictitious story with people and bring some comfort and joy and hope, and yeah, a little bit of murder as well, alongside, and do so, with the blessing of my mom's good health now.
That's lovely. Thank you, Nina.
Thank you. Thank you all so much. And thank you especially to my dear friends at Bookshop Santa Cruz, an independent so close to my heart, who have been so wonderful, along with all the wonderful independent bookstores across our state. Thank you.
Congratulations again, Nina. That was awesome. And we are never mad about a bookstore shout out, so that's awesome. Next up is the Young Adult Award, and joining us is Connie Lynn of Books Inc. to share the nominees.
Hi, everyone. The finalists for the Golden Poppy Young Adult category is The Blackwoods by Brandy Colbert, from Browser and Bray, The Blood Years by Alana K. Arnold, from Browser and Bray, Everyone Wants to Know by Kelly Lloyd Gilbert, from Simon & Schuster Books for Young Readers, An Impossible Thing to Say by Arya Shahi, from Alita, Only This Beautiful Moment by Abdi Nazemian, from Browser and Bray, and A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed, from Harper Teen. And the Golden Poppy for Young Adult goes to A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed.
Hi, Connie. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Ava. And this is your second year for winning
It
your Golden
is.
Poppy.
It's such an honor to be here for 2 years in a row now. It's awesome.
And for folks who didn't join us last year, Ava was the winner for Octavia E. Butler Award for her title, Juniper and Thorn. Thanks for joining us tonight. So I wanted to explore the concept of stories, since appropriate for tonight, since all three of your books seem to kind of focus on that. In Wolf and the Wolfsman, we kind of explore a narrative about being excluded from a story, and then Juniper and Thorn looks at kind of being forced into a story against your will. And A Study in Drowning kind of is a love story about stories, and it explores the relationship of author, story, and reader, who gets to tell stories, the power it wields, and how stories kind of shape personal and national identities. I'm curious, I have a two-parted question. Like, did you consciously kind of decide that you're gonna kind of deep dive into this philosophical questions of storytelling, and what kind of drew you to focus on these themes?
Yeah, I mean, I think like you pointed out, all of my books kind of tackle this topic in different ways, and it's just something that I'm always drawn to. And I say that I think the culture around telling stories is just as interesting as the stories themselves to me. So I think with all of my books, I kind of try and attack that from a different angle and kind of think about, I think with A Study in Drowning, it's kind of the most, you get the most interiority from the character. Being a YA novel, we really feel how Effie, the main character, feels about the stories that she loves and how that changes and how that changes her. And yeah, I think this is just always a question and a topic that I'll be interested in and exploring in my work. And I, pursuant to that, I also just want to say that what we're doing here, creating art, sharing it, being awarded for it, and being memorialized in some way, that is a privilege. Not everybody is afforded that privilege. So I want to dedicate this award to Rafat El-Arir, the Palestinian poet who was murdered last month by Israeli airstrikes. And Rafat wrote, "If I must die, you must live to tell my story." And I'm here and Rafat is not. So this award is for him. Thank you.
Thank you, Ava.
Thank you, Ava. I am now here to introduce John Evans of Diesel Bookstore, who will introduce the Poetry Awards.
Thanks, Jasmine. The finalists for the Golden Poppy Award for Poetry are This Disordered Alphabet by Cynthia Santana from Four Way Books, Egg Tooth by Jesse Nathan from Unbound Editions Press, Nomenclatures of Invisibility by Matem Shifra, that's from Boa Editions, and Notes from the Passenger, Poems by Gillian Connolly, Nightboat Books, and lastly, Removal Acts by Erin Marie Lynch from Grey Wolf Press. And the winner of the Golden Poppy Award for Poetry this year is Matem Shifra. Hi, Matem.
Hi, John. Thank you so much for this honor.
Yeah, congratulations. How do you present in a brief minute or two a whole book of poems that are so wide-ranging as yours are? This is a time of great dislocation, and whether for political or religious persecution, war, work, poverty, or all forms of necessity, we become nomads and exiles, sometimes even within our own bodies, minds, and hearts. Can you speak to how you knit your diasporic selves together in this book of poems?
That's such a great question. Thank you. I don't know if I knitted my diasporic selves in this poem. I think it was a mere attempt to do that. But one of the things I learned to do with this book specifically, I learned to follow our stories through lineages and heritages and cultures. And I learned that the diasporic selves, as you put it so well, were beyond myself and beyond my ancestors and beyond my lineages, but they connected me across the world in different cities with different people and different culture. And it was such a humbling process because as a writer, the attempt is to try and capture the story and control the process. But with this book specifically, I learned to be more and more humbled, and I had to learn to surrender to the process itself, which I will take with me and I will treasure forever. So thank you so much for this wonderful award, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you. It's a beautiful book.
Okay, I am up next once again, and I just wanted to pause for 1 second and say incredibly thoughtful, well done questions on part of the booksellers, and incredibly inspiring and great answers on part of the writers. So thank you on both sides. Okay, I'm going to give the next section is kids nonfiction, and just a quick little background on that. Grace Lane and I were on a committee together for Golden Poppies. I believe it was Mirrors and Windows, I think. And we had so many great submissions that were nonfiction. And so we thought, why not create a new segment of this award show to really honor the hard work that's gone into some of these nonfiction books. So hence we are today. So I'm turning this over to Grace Lane of Linden Tree Books in Los Altos. And Grace, take it away.
Thank you, Susan. I'm so glad that we had this idea to start a new committee because these books have been amazing. And it was very hard to whittle them down, everyone, just saying. So we have our nominees: Accountable, the True Story of a Racist Social Media Account and the Teenagers Whose Lives It Changed by Dashka Slater, Farrar, Straus, and Giroux. Alphabot by Vicky Fang, MIT Kids Press. Good Books for Bad Children by Beth Kephart, illustrated by Chloe Bristol and Schwartz Books. Liberated by Kaz Rowe, Getty Publications. To Boldly Go by Angela Dalton, HarperCollins. What's Inside a Caterpillar Cocoon by Rachel Ignatowski, from Crown Books for Young Readers. And the Golden Puppy Award goes to Accountable. So, Dashka, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited. I am like many Bay Area people. I just am thanking my lucky stars all the time that I live in this rich ecosystem of independent booksellers and have had so much support from independent booksellers throughout my career. So it means so much to get this award. Thank you for creating a category for it.
So I don't have anything particularly deep to ask you, actually. But what I was thinking about, especially in some conversations that I've had about your book with some of my fellow booksellers, is that you've talked with a lot of adults since the book has come out. You've had a lot of conversations with parents and teachers. I know that when you were at Linden Tree, you were in conversation with adults. So I'm curious about what kinds of conversations you've been having with teenagers since the book came out, when the tours that you've had at high schools and such.
Yeah, teenagers are so connected to this topic because they're living it every day. And they have a lot of questions about how are they supposed to deal with this? They are seeing online hate every day. When I ask them to raise their hands if they have encountered online hate, all the hands go up. And so they have questions for us about how are they supposed to navigate this? How are they supposed to behave with one another? Nobody really wants to be that guy who says like, not cool, guys. It's a very uncomfortable role to play when you're a teenager. And so they're trying to figure out what is the best approach. And also they wish that they knew more about disinformation, about radicalization, about the algorithms that are shaping their and our lives and behavior. And so I hear just a lot of cries for help, really, from everybody.
Well, it sounds to me like the kids might actually be all right, though. If those are the things that they're thinking about, then as long as there are some adults to stand there with them, that they might actually become really amazing adults themselves who might actually do a lot of good with things like the algorithm.
If there is one thing that I think anyone who spends time with young people comes away with, it is the feeling that they are absolutely an amazing generation, that if we can give them the tools they need, they will do great things.
I love that. Thank you so much, Dashka, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. Next up, we have the Martin Cruz Smith Award for Emerging Diverse Voices, which seeks to recognize a debut or newer author with a diverse perspective. And here to present the nominees is Louisa Smith of Book Passage in Corte Madera and San Francisco. Hi, Louisa.
Hi, nice to see you, Jhoanna. Thank you everybody for being here tonight. We have some wonderful books that we picked as our top 6. The Bandit Queens by Parani Shroff from Ballantine. We have First Gen, a memoir by Alejandro Campaverde from Grand Central Publishing. We have I Will Greet the Sun Again by Kashira Kabushani. I was better when I wasn't nervous, I promise. We have Pig by Sam Sachs, which is from Scribner. We have The Jasad Hair by Sarah Hashem, and Night Wherever We Go by Tracy Rose Payton. And the Golden Poppy goes to First Gen by Alejandro Campaverde. And I'm going to just tell you a little bit about this book, because if you know me, and a lot of you do, when I love a book, I can't stop talking about it. So while she joins us, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about this amazing memoir. After speaking at Harvard to students for the 2016 Latinx graduation, Campaverde felt compelled to re-examine her life in what she called a bicultural balancing act. A Mexican-American woman who went from being a child on welfare to serving as a White House aide to President Obama to a candidate for US Congress to a women's health advocate. But she wanted to keep it real and not skip over the tough realities of her own story, realities that she felt these students and many others might share. This is what made First Gen stand out to our panel. First Gen does not simply focus on Campaverde's accomplishments. We were struck by her willingness to be vulnerable and show all the messy parts between the highlights, how her journey on the way to realizing her dream impacted her and her relationships with others in a multitude of ways, exploring themes of intergenerational trauma, stigma and stereotypes, conflicting feelings around success, and the intersections between Mexican culture and American culture. First Gen is a celebration of the nonlinear paths many take to achieving their dreams and the ways our history can both burden and lift us along the way. It's an ode to owning your past and our stories, whatever they may be. And with that, welcome Alejandra.
Thank you, Louisa. Wow, thank you for that beautiful summary. And thank you to Kaliba and California's independent booksellers for this honor. I'm a first-time author, so being welcomed into this beautiful community really means a lot. So thank you.
Of course, and I should mention that this award is specifically for diverse voices and emerging authors, and you fit the bill so perfectly with this beautiful book. It really, we loved it right from the start. It was at the top of our list. I do, for a question, you start the book with this beautiful Dakota proverb: "We will forever be known by the tracks we leave." And I wanted to ask you, what tracks are you hoping to leave with this book?
Wow. Wonderful question. The tracks that I hope to leave are that, there are no tracks, like there are no tracks that we're supposed to follow that make it right or make us figure out being the first in our family and the way that it's supposed to look, like we're leaving these tracks and the snow's covering them up, and then we continue to leave them over and over again. And so whatever that looks like for me is different than from everyone else. But the point is that, just because they don't look perfect, that doesn't mean that we're doing anything wrong. We're all in this kind of first gen, whether it's a student or a professional or first to break the cycle of poverty, we're all on this journey together. We're not alone.
That's beautiful. And I think one of the amazing things about your book is how you revealing yourself helps other people feel seen. So congratulations, really such a triumph. Everybody, a great graduation gift, by the way, for you guys. That's coming up. So congratulations again, Alejandra. And back to you, Susan.
Thank you, Louisa. Great idea about a graduation gift. That's a great one. So thank you for that idea. Okay, next up is mirrors and windows. And everybody, everybody basically knows what mirrors and windows are. And particularly in California, we are so lucky to have so many authors writing about mirrors, where any kid from any background or life can see themselves, or windows where they can see someone else's life. And we all know how important that is to to represent that in books. And so I'm really thrilled that we have such a great variety of examples of effective, compelling mirrors and windows to talk to you about today. And so to do that today, it will be Sharon Levin from Books Inc. of Palo Alto. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Susan. We have some great books. We'll start with Camp Quilt Bag from Nicole Melleby and AJ Sass, published by Algonquin Young Readers. We have Last Flight by Kristen May Yang, illustrated by Dow Pumeric from Levine Carrido. Parachute Kids by Betty Tang from Graphics and Imprint of Scholastic. Spanish is the Language of My Family from Michael Genhart, illustrated by John Parra. And Yanebi's Drive to School, illustrated and written by Cindy Santamaria. And I do want to say first that Spanish is the Language of My Family and Yanebi's Drive to School are simultaneously available in Spanish. So woohoo! That's excellent. And the Golden Poppy for Mirrors and Windows goes to Parachute Kids from Betty C. Tang. Yay! Betty, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm looking, do I see, but there she is, yay! Thank you for joining us. So I'm going to combine the two questions. So Parachute Kids, for the people who have not had the pleasure of reading your fabulous book, what does that term mean?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. Hello, all the California independent booksellers and book lovers. Thank you so much for this honor. Well, the Parachute Kids, it's a term that was coined by the Asian communities. It's like the early 80s. There was all these kids dropped off by their parents. So basically, Parachute Kids are children who are dropped off in foreign countries with friends, relatives, or sometimes paid caregivers while their parents return to their home country to work in order to support them. Sorry, I'm a little nervous, so. And so back in the 80s, there was just suddenly all these kids that were showing up in Asian communities. And so because we're kind of parachuted down, so somebody came up with this term.
Yes, and it's great. And I love the name of your book. So let me ask, in Parachute Kids, some of it is your story, some of it is stories from others. Can you share one of the stories from the book that is from your life?
Because I'm also the youngest of 4 kids. In a book, there are 3 kids because 4 is just too much to handle in a book. My middle sister was complaining that she was left out. But the book is fiction. But I think I most identified with the middle child, Fengli. And so there was this one, I think the beginning part is very, very much me. The loneliness at school, the anxiety of a new culture full of kids who find you interesting for about 15 minutes, and then suddenly, because you can't speak a word of English, you don't understand them, and so they don't mean to be mean, but then they're bored, right? And so they split, and all of a sudden I found myself to be alone, and it was quite terrifying. And I was a really shy and slow learning kid, and back then there was not such a dedicated English for second language. They didn't know what to do about me, and so I didn't have friends until 2 years later, I think. So it was a very lonely time for me. And then, of course, I wanted to explore why was it. And when I went home, my siblings had their own issues too, right? Because they got dropped off as well. And so we started to fight because nobody wanted to take this responsibility. My older sister resented it. And anyway, so long story short, and so I wanted to explore in the book, why is it that these siblings who are dropped off, they should be uniting together in this hard time? Why was it that there was this tension and they tore apart, and how to resolve it and bring them back? So.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's wonderful for the kids who can relate. It's a great mirror and it's a great window. Thank you so much for Parachute Kids. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Jasmine, you're muted.
I know, I discovered it. I'm sorry. Now for a category close to my heart, the romance category. And Summer Laurie from Books Inc. is going to introduce our finalists.
Thank you, Jasmine. I am thrilled to announce our 6 nominees this year. Alone with You in the Ether, a love story by Olive Blake. How to Tame a Wild Rogue by Julie Ann Long from Avon Books. The Rewind by Allison Wynne Scotch from Berkeley Romance. Sinner's Isle by Angela Montoya from Joy Revolution. Sorry Bro by Talene Boscuni from Berkeley Romance. And You with a View by Jessica Joyce from Berkeley Romance. And the Golden Poppy Award for Romance goes to Sorry Bro by Talene Boscuni. Yay!
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness.
Congratulations!
Oh,
This one
thank
came
you.
into us a little bit late in the game, and I'm so thrilled that we finally got our copies, and the committee just fell in love immediately. So I'm so pleased that the Kalima membership agreed with us on this one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm really shocked. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to all the booksellers who have made this debut year such a dream. I knew about this award, the Golden Poppy, as a kid, so I'm really shocked and thrilled to have won this. So thank you.
So I have a question for you. In your acknowledgements, you share that there aren't enough Armenian stories, and it's been a goal of yours to add another narrative to the Armenian Cultural Collective, to share your ancient and beautiful traditions with the world. Job well done, by the way. One of the ways you accomplish that in Sorry Bro is by sharing an Armenian proverb as epigraph and to begin each chapter. Can you talk a bit about those proverbs? Maybe where you found them, how you fit them so perfectly with the plot line of each chapter, or did any of them inspire some of the plot twists you have?
Yeah, absolutely. So I first heard about these proverbs from another Armenian author, Nancy Krikorian, and she started posting these proverbs on Twitter, and they just spoke to me. Every time she posted it, it just sparked my imagination. So I looked for a book of proverbs, which I picked up at my local bookstore, Christopher's Books, and I also talked to Nancy, and she recommended another one called 7 Bites from a Raisin, which is fantastic. So I wrote the whole first draft of Sorry Bro first. And in the meantime, I had gone through and was highlighting proverbs I thought would fit generally with the story. But it wasn't until the draft was done, I went back and kind of combed through and found the proverbs that I thought would be perfect. And some of them are so funny or interesting or touching. I really want to include them. I feel like there is an insight into Armenian culture in it. And also I was very thrilled that I was able to include Armenian letters in the book. So this book does feel very Armenian to me.
Do we get to see any more proverbs in your next coming out?
In Lavash, no, there aren't proverbs in that. But I do think there's a lot of food in that one. It's like kind of a foodie rom-com. So I think I want to include some recipes or something in that one.
Oh, fantastic. Can't wait. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Now I'm here to introduce the Octavia E. Butler Award, which is in honor of the renowned California science fiction author Octavia E. Butler. And here to introduce the nominees is Elena Trucker with Napa Bookmine. Hi, Elena.
Hi, everyone. I'm thrilled to announce the nominees for the Octavia E. Butler Award for Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror. Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle, published by Tor Nightfire. Ebony Gate by Julia V. and Ken Bebel from Tor Books. The Jezud Air by Sarah Hisham from Orbit. Maeve Fly by C.J. Lead from Tor Nightfire. And Uranians by Theodore McCombs from Astra House. And the Octavia E. Butler Award goes to Mayfly by C.J. Lead. Yay!
Thank
Hi,
you.
Susan. Thanks so much for joining us. I have to ask, because this is a virtual room full of California people, The city of Los Angeles in your book is practically its own character, and your love for and knowledge of that city just totally shines through. Could you speak a little bit about why you chose to make LA such a prominent part of your wild, wonderful book?
First of all, thank you. This is totally amazing and surreal. Um, Please, nobody hate me for this, but I moved from New York about 5 years ago and I panicked and was like, oh my God, I made the biggest mistake of my life. Where am I? And I ended up like COVID hit, I was inside and I wanted to get to know the city that I had landed in, or rather, like put myself in. And I started reading books about LA and I started driving around LA and kind of experiencing it from inside my car when we couldn't go on foot yet, really. And anyway, by the end of the book, I had fallen completely in love with the city. And now, like, I don't really know that I could live anywhere else. And I think there's so much to be said for a city that almost everybody in the world feels very strongly about, you know, in one direction or another. And you gotta love a controversial lady.
Definitely, definitely. I also really need to know, is there a playlist somewhere for all of the amazing Halloween music that is featured throughout the book?
Yes. Yeah, there
Awesome. Where can we
totally
find
is. I will if you go on my Instagram, Siege the Moment, I'll repost the playlist. It's on my Spotify and it's pretty much all the music listed in the book, and like then there's a longer party version with more. But seriously, thank you so much. It's been so cool to be embraced. Like, first of all, just in this book world and book community, this is my first novel ever published. And then also in California, I really like, this is the best state, guys. um, so thank you. And like the wealth of bookstores in even just in LA, it's so overwhelming. And I wanted to name a few, but my list just kept growing and growing and growing. And like every bookstore within 30 miles of me, I'm there all the time. And so hello, thank you, and I so appreciate it, and this is way, way cool.
Thanks so much, CJ, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
I am here to introduce the Glenn Goldman Award. The Glenn Goldman Award for Cookbooks and California Lifestyle is a tribute to longtime bookstore owner and friend Glenn Goldman. Goldman was the owner of the iconic bookstore Book Soup, which he founded in 1975 on Sunset Boulevard. And here to present the Glenn Goldman Award is Kristen Rasmussen of the Bookslinger. Kristen?
Hi, Jasmine. Thank you so much, and thank you for the little shout out of my tiny bookstore up in Santa Ynez that's about the size of a closet. I appreciate that. I'm very, very thrilled and honored to present the Glenn Goldman Award nominees. The first one is The Art of Ruth E. Carter by Ruth E. Carter from Chronicle Books. Beyond the Canyon, Inside Epic at California Homes by Roger Davies, the Monticelli Press. The Deserts of California, a California Field Atlas by Obi Kaufman, Heyday Books. Chaos Theory, the Afro-Cosmic Arc of Ben Caldwell by Robisintaj Fraser and Ben Caldwell, Angel City Press. And Sunnylands by Janice Lyle, Vendome. And the Glenn Goldman Award for California Lifestyle goes to The Deserts of California, a California Field Atlas by Obi Kaufman. Unfortunately, Obi had a scheduling conflict this evening with an event at, I'm hoping it was at a California bookstore. I'm pretty sure it probably was. But he was so nice and sent a little love note to all of you in thanks for this. So I'm going to read it. It's on my phone here. He writes, I am so thrilled and honored that the Deserts of California has won this year's Glenn Goldman California Lifestyle Poppy Award. I am so proud of the strong community that the California California Independent Booksellers Alliance represents, and I am deeply grateful for their support of my work and for remaining such a consistent and steadfast proponent of all things needs such a voice. Thank you to my publisher, Heyday Books, who makes it all possible, and to curious readers and art lovers everywhere. Wow. We're so proud that, that Obi has won this award, and we congratulate him. Next up, I actually want to introduce and hand it over to the second part of our Golden Poppy Awards, which is cooking. And to present that award is going to be my friend Jeff Resnick of Pages of Bookstore in Manhattan Beach. Take it away, Jeff.
Thank you so much, Kristen. So here are the nominees for the Glenn Goldman Award for cooking. The first one is The Book of Sichuan Chili Crisp from 10 Speed Press by Jing Gao. Chia Nuam, Native California Foodways for the Contemporary Kitchen from Heyday Books by Sarah Calvolsa Olson. The Hog Island Book of Fish and Seafood from Cameron Books by John Ash. Pistachio, also from Cameron Books by Georgianne Brennan and Barbara Bryant. Scandinavian from Scratch from 10 Speed Press by Nicole Acetola. And finally, Veg Table from Chronicle Books by Nick Sharma. And the Glenn Goldman Award for cooking goes to Veg Table by Nick Sharma. Congratulations, Nick. Thank you so much for taking time to be here tonight. I thought I'd take a second or two and just throw a couple little blurbs about your background so that everyone got to know a little bit more about you. This is your third book. You have a background in molecular biology. You also have a background in food blogging, food styling, and food photography, all of which I'm sure helped considerably with the creation of this book. And all of us on the committee thought that your book was really amazing. The book, the recipes, the layout, even the way, the care and concern you put into the way you laid out the recipes, it really showed, and we were blown away by the finished work. And I'd love to ask, one quick question, and that is, what was the inspiration? Why did you decide to write a plant-forward cookbook for your third book?
Absolutely. First of all, just thank you to everyone. This is such a huge honor, especially all the indie booksellers, librarians, and publishers, and my publisher, Chronicle Books, who's based in San Francisco, because you guys are my biggest champions of all my books. Regarding this book, I was looking for, to write a book where I could kind of tie in what I trained in, biology, and also I come from the world of academics, so I love teaching people about the intersection of science, food, and culture. And for me, the easiest way to do that is through recipes, and I love doing that. And with vegetables, there wasn't really a book that I found on bookshelves that kind of did all of this, and this was just such a fun book to write because I got to be nerdy and academic and cook.
Awesome. Since I'm shameless, I have to ask one more quick question, and that is, if you had the ability, which we're doing right now, is there a certain recipe that you would love to guide people towards? Maybe it's your favorite, or maybe it's a recipe that you feel really epitomizes what this book is all about, or who you are as a chef, as a food creator.
Absolutely. There's a recipe in this book. Actually, there are two recipes that kind of focus on folding leaves. And I feel that is an art. It's an art that is done in so many different cultures across the globe. And that's something that I try to teach people when I'm showing them recipes, is that we all do different things in different parts of the world very similarly, but also different. And I try to do this with this recipe in the book, which is a stuffed cabbage leaves. You fill them up with mashed potatoes and lentils. And that's something that my grandmother used to make back in India with ground beef. And so this is kind of like the vegetarian version of it, but it's just such a fun thing to do that you could do by yourself, with guests, or even with kids. And I don't have kids, so I'm always looking for ways, how do I just like get people at the table and do something fun? And for me, this was just such a fun recipe to include in the book. So fold your leaves.
Folding leaves, next recipe to make. Thank you so much, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Oh, that was great. Thank you so much. And a very special and very big thank you to our three wonderful hosts, our friend Jasmine Guillory, Jhoanna Belfer, and Susan Reckers. Thank you so much for being here to help us out tonight. We really appreciate the three of you. It was so good to see you all. We just wanted, before we close tonight, to just give you a few announcements. One very exciting one is that we have a winner for our Golden Poppy Book Awards display contest. It is, oh, there it is, Bookshop Benicia. All right. That's so great. That is so great. Also, a couple other things. I think we're going to get a little preview tonight of our 2023 bookmarks that Valentina's been working very hard on. Yep, there they are. And they are absolutely the coolest things. I'm so excited about this. She created this herself, and they're just wonderful. So they have the book spines on one side, and on the other side a list of all the winners. And we will be linking. I think Emma's doing that now. She's going to be linking a way to get these bookmarks. These bookmarks are free to our California Bookstore members. So please be sure to put in a request, and we will get those to you. And also we have our Golden Poppy award-winning shelf talkers. These are downloadable resources that are available from the Kaliba website, kalibaalliance.org. So please check those out, print those out, put them in your stores, display these books. They are absolutely wonderful. And when you voted, you told us how much you love them. So please put them in your stores. We would love that. And last but not least, I wanted to do a quick shout out. And if they're still here and can come on the screen, I would love to see Summer Laurie from Books Inc. and Amanda Kusar from Warwick's in San Diego. I don't know if you guys are still here, but if you are, they are our 2024 Golden Poppy chairs. So thank you for volunteering. We are so excited to have you two lead the charge next year. They are going to do an amazing job. You all are in very, very good hands. And again, thank you all for joining us. The recording of this will live on the Kaliba website, so please check it out. And again, thank you for being here, and have a wonderful evening. Congratulations to all of you. Good night, everyone.